T Expression Show. I am Stacey B. I'm having a conversation today with Randy. He's a gospel radio announcer for Rejoice 1540 WREJ in Richmond, Virginia. Coming up right now. Welcome, Randy.
Rejoice 1540.
Now, how long you been in the business?
Well, technically, my first experiences were back in the 80s in radio. I was actually in the Navy, and I worked with Armed Forces Radio and Television Service when I was overseas. Many times we traveled in the Navy, of course. The ships themselves have radio and television stations on board, and I kind of volunteered, and that's how I got started.
Okay. So you always been in the gospel radio? No. So you played some?
Well, I played pretty much at the time. The music of the time would have been or R&B, maybe the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the stuff that was out back in those days. I didn't get into gospel until the 2000s. Probably it was 2002 to be exact.
Okay. Now,
Rejoice 1540, WREJ here in Richmond. We've been nominated for the Stellar Awards 5 times.
Y'all been at the Joy Fest as well.
Yes, a colleague, Ed Stevens Jr., who happens to work on the Rejoice 1540, has been active and proactive as far as putting Joy Fest together many years. And on those particular events, Rejoice 1540 is most of the lead station on these events. And of course, you bring the artists such as Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, all the top names throughout the years.
Yeah. So you have met all these people. What's some of your favorite artists that you met in person? Not just you played. How many?
It wouldn't be fair.
Oh, okay. Now, if somebody like me wants to get into radio, want to listen, know how to play those songs, and know the order, we need to go to school?
I would say so. Okay. That's your best method. Of course, it is college. Mass media. Okay. You would learn radio, television, the newspaper, all the various genres of media. Radio in specific, you can probably still get in radio other than going to school. In my case, that's the way it was. I was in the military and got into radio. But we, every now and then, may have a job offer, not necessarily on the air, but in sales and other methods of ways to get into radio. Mm-hmm. I know one guy, Bill Borkins, in fact, we just lost him this year, earlier this year, had got into radio by sweeping the floor. He was in radio 60 years. He was the guy sweeping the floor and making the coffee. And some guy didn't show up, and the owner told him, "Hey, get on the air. I need you to play some gospel." And that's how he got into business, and he's been there about 60 years after that.
Okay,
so you never know how these things work.
Right. So tell me some of your memorable moments over the years to playing the gospel music.
Memorable?
Yes. You have so many people that walk in the studio.
I tell you what, that's a good way to think about it, because it's so much that happened over the years. I've been in so many different radio stations, but I think more recently we've had people like Dottie Peoples come into the studio. We've had just about all the artists have stopped through the studio when they come through town at one point or another. And of course, that's always exciting meeting the people that we play. Right. And one thing about gospel, and I can't say it's different in other types of music, but gospel artists, they don't mind coming in, shaking your hand, and taking pictures with you. They don't, you don't sense that they feel that we've arrived already, and but they're very approachable to the ordinary person, the person that buys their music.
Now, so as an artist, somebody getting out there and get started, they just send y'all to the auto radio station, their CD?
Well, actually, technology has changed that a bit too. We've over the years, and they still do it. They'll still send us the CD or the singles. That's why a lot of the radio stations will be on the same song. But now you can email the song, MP3, or even newer methods than that. But
Wow.
pretty much now it's electronic. So we could get the music almost the same day it comes out, and depending on the radio station, we could have it on almost immediately.
Wow. Technology is moving up, right?
Yeah.
So then, do you have to sit there a day before and come up with your playlist? Or
Well, the automation, once again, computers, you can program your show how your music is going to rotate. And the key to it is making sure you rotate the music, the newer stuff in, and take the older stuff out. And that way it won't sound like you're playing the same music over and over again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say I'm trying to get a hit. You know how you hear that hit song and it comes,
Okay.
you hear it all the time, every time you hear it all the time. Do y'all be picking who y'all want to play that much? Who you think will be
Well,
a hit?
the listeners pick music too. They'll call in and say, "Oh, I like this song, I like that song." But a lot of it does have to do with the persons that chose the music, if they like the music as well.
Okay.
And that's pretty much my criteria. Because really, you can have somebody say, "Well, that radio station doesn't sound that good," but really, it's the music that we're playing that makes the station sound good or not so good.
Okay.
But if you play a lot of good music, then someone's always going to say, "Oh, your station sounds real good."
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. So that's why you'll play that song that somebody got that hit that you know.
Well, I mean, a lot of times you can listen to a song and it really, let's put it this way, I get so much music in a day, it's impossible to listen to all the songs all that day.
Okay.
So you really only have time to listen to maybe 3 or 4 seconds of the song. If it hits you as soon as you play it, okay, I'm going to play that on the air. And a lot of times, to be truthful, a lot of times the first time I hear the whole song is when I play it on the air.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I just admire y'all being on that station. Y'all in there. I've been to the radio station.
Okay.
I talked on your show, and how you had the mic on, and now y'all streaming live now, and
Okay.
right.
And we're streaming. And not only that, we have webcam in the studio as well.
Okay.
You can access that from our website, www.rejoice1540.com, and you can click on Listen Live or Stream Live. Now, one thing about our radio station as well, we do represent a lot of churches here in the Richmond area. Many of the ministries come on the radio station live, as well as sending their programming, and we'll play that over the air as well.
Okay.
But if we have pastors or talk show hosts that come into the studio live, they are also streaming over our webcam as well, so you can actually see them in the studio with the camera on them.
I mean, technology really has changed from back in the day.
And hear it. And I've had many people from around the country say they actually sit there and watch me or listen to the show via the Ustream.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how you adjusting to that? You liking that?
Well, we've
very
been doing a few years now. We've been doing probably like 4 years, I think. We've been streaming like that, as well as streaming you streaming, as well as the streaming live the music as well. So it's interesting because here's a story on that. I'm actually a retired Navy. I'm a veteran. And I've been to different wars. I've been to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and at that time we had a group of guys. We were all on the ship together. Well, as you know, we just had Veterans Day, and it so happens we actually reconnected. A lot of us reconnected on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, and it just so happened one of the persons was a chief, a chief, a Navy chief, and Chief Skinner was his name. Well, he found me. We found each other on Facebook, and so he sent a message on Facebook that he was watching. He said, "I'm watching, and I'm listening, and your hair's too long." That's a little wild. I got a ponytail here. Obviously, I didn't have that when I was in the military.
That's right. You gotta keep that hair short.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny. I give him thumbs up in the camera too.
Okay, that's right. Now it's a lot more y'all do. When the stars come in town, do they call you and let you know they're here, or you already know people coming before they get here?
Well, you know, every case varies. You know, sometimes you'll get a call from the record label or management of an artist that's coming through on the tour just to promote their project, and they'll come into the studio. We'll set up a date to do an interview with them. So they'll hit each studio, each radio station while they're here, or you know, you could do it by phone, of course. The same thing, you know, artists will talk to them over the phone, promote their project. If there's a program in town, and if they had the time, because sometimes, you know, you actually got sound checks and all that, and you may or may not get a chance to come by the station. But again, we try to make room for them to come into the station, and if they can, and take pictures. We may even be able to pre-record that program, that interview, and then play it back later.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you, I still want to get that, since you've been in the radio business now.
Okay.
What has so much pulled that excitement out of you? What makes you just smile when you get up there? Because I see you smiling when you're in that.
Well, just coming to work every day, really.
That's it?
Yeah. Enjoy my job, enjoy my work. You have to have a passion with it. I think this is the reasons why I've been in the industry so long.
Okay.
I've seen people come and go, and I'm just thankful and blessed that I'm still here. And I've worked on multiple radio stations over the years, never ever actually being unemployed. Okay. What I mean by that is, I started out at Willis Broadcasting in gospel. I'm starting from gospel.
I'm with you.
And that was in 2002. And even while I was at Willis, I actually had an opportunity to work at Norfolk State's radio station, WNSB, Hot 91, at the same time. I was going under a different name. Around 2005, I came to Richmond to work at Rejoice 1540, WREJ, which is not too far from where we're at today.
Right.
In the process of that, I got a job offer at a radio station as a station manager, an opportunity, let's say, where I sent them my information and they liked what they saw, and I went to a place called Moultrie, Georgia, just outside of Albany, Georgia, about 40 miles from Albany, but the signal could reach Albany and also reach as far as Tallahassee, Florida. And that was a good opportunity. I had worked there, running the radio station, doing the same thing that we do here in Richmond, playing great gospel music, sales and all that. Good opportunity to say that you've actually was in charge of this type of operation. And then I got another job offer in 2010, which actually makes this week, or really last week, made 4 years since I've been back here on Rejoice 1540. Last week made an anniversary of me being here 4 years back on this station. So this is the second time I've been on Rejoice, and this has actually been an awesome opportunity to be back here again in Richmond.
Okay. Now, if somebody said, a child said, I want to be like you, I want to get into radio, and I want to, what would you tell them really to stay focused, how to get to do their goal other than just go to college, to get them to college?
Right. Well, I would, well, first of all, I don't have a problem with bringing someone into the studio to let them see what it's all about. Actually, I've had our offers in the past where I've actually had school buses come to the studio and the children come in and do a tour. And two school buses come through, do a tour through all the radio stations, let them talk to the radio personalities. We have 4 stations, by the way, at our radio group. There's the Rejoice 1540, WREJ. There's News Talk 990, WLEE, and many people have heard of the Jack Gravely show, as well as Jim Jacobs show. We had two full-time Hispanic radio stations here in Richmond, which is also a great opportunity as well to be able to sort of be able to mingle with everyone, not just one radio station, but you have opportunities to meet people from all genres, and that's Selecta 1320 and La Grande 1480 radio stations that we also have. And I brought the children in, and they got a chance to see all of that. And so that's basically a way to show them what it's about.
Right. The keyboard too.
And I guess you talk about the actual board where the board where they can see the controls for the music that's going on, all the different computers now that pretty much is what's playing over the air. You know.
Okay, so they're not using the keyboard as much.
Well, you call it it's not really a keyboard, but it's a
tell me what
mixer.
You call it.
Yeah, more of a mixer. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I don't know. So tell me. So the mixer, you're not using it as much.
Well, you still use that, but what we're not using are CD players and cassettes and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, we have a new employee to the staff, young lady. Actually, her name is Lady, and she just graduated high school.
Okay.
So she came in the studio last week, and we were talking about different things and how music has evolved radio has evolved over the years. And we used to use a thing called cart machines. Cart machines are almost like 8-tracks.
Okay.
So I said, do you know what an 8-track is? And she was like, no, I never heard of that before. So I had to pull up a picture of an 8-track so she could see what it looks like online.
Okay. But I'm still a CD person. I still got to put that CD.
Oh, sure.
So we're not going to die from that for a while.
Oh,
right?
no. But you know, the young folks now are probably in the MP3s and that sort of thing, I think.
Okay.
You know.
Now, thinking about that, so then you're no longer building up CDs no more yourself then.
Well, to be honest with you, it's just like the way it used to be, where a guy would take a bunch of albums to a party, right? He's carrying all these milk crates, right?
Right.
Now you can bring your computer in your briefcase and plug it in and get going. You know.
Wow. I haven't caught up to that yet, so you make me feel old now. So you just bring your computer.
Yeah, that's it. You can plug it in and get going. You have all your music on MP3s, and you can't really tell the difference or what you're doing. One of the benefits of that is a CD sometimes skip. You know, if there's a fingerprint on it, forget it. Albums used to scratch, so they would skip on the air.
Yes.
But MP3s, 9 times out of 10, you don't have any problem with those.
Okay. So they're gonna sound crystal clear too.
Every time.
Okay. All right. So, Randy, what are some other things y'all do at the radio station other than just play music?
Well, you know, this is a very interesting question there. In fact, this is put it this way: when I used to be in the military, in the Navy, we had to multitask. You know, everybody always had more than one job. I mean, you may have one job, but there's always something else that you did besides your job. And the company that I'm at now is pretty much that way. Okay. Although I'm on the air, we also do sales. You know, we go out and talk to clients. We also we do production. We produce the commercials as well. And I think the sales is very interesting because this is an area where you don't have to necessarily be on the air and still be in radio.
Okay.
What I like about sales is that you get to meet a lot of people. You come out, you meet the community, you go into the churches, you meet the pastors. In my case, gospel community, you meet the pastors, and you meet all sorts of different denominations of different churches, and it's very interesting how you form relationships, with people, and whenever they have programs and wherever they have different events, that they come to talk to you about that, and so of course one of the biggest parts about radio is hearing the commercials on the radio.
Okay.
How did that comes about? Well, this is how it comes about. You have, like I said, maybe somebody comes to you that needs a program, or they bring in a concert in. Okay, we get the information, we put it together. We actually produce the commercials right at our radio station. We have equipment. We're similar to what's inside the studio, except we actually produce it with, we have a programs, and some of those are called Cool Edit, or some of them where you could actually voice the whole thing, take the clean it up a little bit, put music behind it, take the artist's music, put it inside each segment of behind their name. And you've heard many commercials where you hear they say, also coming, Fred Hammond, and then you hear Fred Hammond, Kirk Franklin, he's coming too, you know, and you
so they don't send that to you.
Well, most of everything that they need, we have.
Okay.
Mostly everything. Now, here's something else. Maybe we're producing a commercial for, say, a store.
Okay.
Okay, and now, where do you get that kind of music, instrumental? Well, there are companies that provide that kind of production music, it's called. Oh. And of course, we have a whole library for that. You know, so you'll have.
So you don't have to worry about copyright, right?
No, we have the copyright on all that.
All right.
Yeah, because
each radio station
each radio station should have agreement to play those on the air.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wow. Now, in doing that takes you a lot of time to put that together, correct?
Sometimes it do. To be honest with you, I always take time to do a well-produced commercial. If you've heard any commercials in my voice on the air, they've always been took time out to really understand what I'm saying, the music put together. That's all been depending on what is out at the time. Like if we're doing a concert, you know, you want to pick the stuff that's out, and also you want to pick the stuff that's well known to put in the commercial. One of the things that I have been blessed where my particular commercials have played on other radio stations other than Rejoice 1540.
Okay.
And I've actually had people from out of state ask me to do commercials for them, like Georgia and places that they know me well from that area, and they'll call me to ask me to produce the commercial for them. I've actually had my commercials turned into TV commercials as well, where they use my voice and the actual commercial, and they put video to that as well. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
And you ready to do my commercial?
Sure.
We're gonna put it on to you.
Okay.
And get that voice going.
So that's some of the jobs that come with radio, as well as it's a full circle. You know, you come in the door, you meet with an account exec is who you talk to, and they'll sit down with you and find out your needs, and we'll take that and turn it into something that people can actually listen to over the radio. Mm-hmm. And another thing that's very interesting about a station like Rejoice, many of the commercials are actually, they feel like they're part of the programming, because if you're listening to gospel music, then you hear a gospel event coming up, or you hear a church event coming up, that's something that you will probably want to get an ear to. Let me hear that. Let me get a little bit more info on that, because that sounds like something I might want to go see.
I think you have to have a system. Now, I tried putting some music together, and I put some regular gospel, the middle type, and then I threw some rap gospel behind.
Okay, y'all see where you're going.
You know
all right, this is called. Well, be honest with you, every radio station should have some type of clock. Every hour, certain thing must happen a certain way. Now, if it doesn't happen that way, it sounds like you have no clue the direction of where this company is going. You know, they're playing this, they're playing that, or they're playing too much of that and not enough of this. You know, and so each part of the hour, something should happen every time. Like, for example, at the top of the hour, maybe you're going to have the station ID, of course. Every station has to do that. That's legal. You're going to have maybe the hottest song is out right at the moment, and then you may have a person talk. Then you may have 2 or 3 songs, and then about 20 minutes at the hour, you're doing commercials. You know, so everything must happen a certain way, and that's why a lot of times if you switch stations, you hear the same thing happening on each station at the same time. You might hear switch and you hear commercials on one station, you hear the commercials on the other station at the same time.
Okay.
You know, so
y'all going by that clock.
Well, everybody should have their own clock.
Okay.
But in many cases, it seems that way because everybody just seems like, oh man, everybody's playing the commercials at the same time.
Okay. All right. All right.
So you can do that with the music too. You could have, say, you could start out with the new music that the hot thing that's out right now. The second song could be been around a minute, been around. The third song could be an oldie. The fourth song could be another hot song. Then you go to commercials. The next song could be a new one. The next song after that could be a gospel rap song. You know, the next song after that could be another hot song that's out right now. You know, and more commercials. You know, and then you might have room for 2 more songs, maybe another new song, another oldie or something.
Okay.
You know, now with Christmas you might have a new song and a Christmas song. You know, and then you go for more commercials. By now, the hour should be pretty close to the top of the hour.
Right.
So you start that whole again, the whole thing again.
Okay.
Now, of course, inside these hours, you could take maybe 10 minutes of that same hour and put a special segment in there. But it would still keep the same. You still will stay on time.
Okay.
You know, like every 10 minutes you might have an interview.
Okay.
You know. And it ends up just about the time the commercials start, but you're still on schedule.
Right. So do y'all really do pay attention to where the time on that?
How long
that music
to.
lasts?
You have
how
to.
Long, that music 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 7 minutes.
Well, you want to stay on course with what's happening because you definitely want your clients' commercials to run.
Okay.
You definitely want that to happen. If you miss those, you're not necessarily in trouble. But you make sure you have to play somewhere there. But you want to stay on schedule, so you won't have to worry about moving that to somewhere else or rescheduling those commercials. Because sometimes those commercials have to play. They actually might be set to play at a certain time of the day too. So if you miss that hour, they won't play until tomorrow at the same time. So you want to make sure they get in there on time, on schedule, according to the log, which every radio station has a log. Or electronic log, which is the computer now. So,
okay. I think that's amazing. So when Randy, when you go to these different events, what y'all actually do there?
Well, it depends. Let's just say we're emceeing an event. We would actually be the person that's actually on the stage or on the microphone, introducing the groups that come up. Keeping the audience entertained while between the groups setting up at the different places, different locations. You know, you'll have the maybe 5 minutes between groups as they're setting their bands up, you know, or getting their tracks ready, whatever it is that they're playing. That's one of the aspects of emceeing, and just overall having fun. Okay. You know.
Now I went recently to I was at Joy Fest and I saw your table there.
Okay.
So you had a lot of people coming to the table. Y'all was giving away something. I was saying, why the people were swarming the table? So you went on the stage then. What do you do when the people come to the table?
Well, that was fun. That was really fun. We had a table at Joy Fest. That was the big concert back in July with Kirk Franklin.
Yes.
Yes, and we had some of the other artists there. It was awesome. We had the table set up. And I actually had music playing at our table. We had the same music that you hear on our radio station. Okay. It's actually just about everything. The way you would hear it on radio is what you heard at the table. All the same music, and it was fun. We had the kids. We had everybody. We had some of the kids out there jamming to the music. It was fun. We were giving away things. We had a little drawing going on. That's exciting. Okay. And but that's pretty much what we do at those events. Yeah.